Namaste. Good afternoon, everybody watching here, watching me through this live program. So I'd like to welcome you all in today's class. It's me, Sabina Shrestha. Today I'm going to help you with some of the contents of science from physics portion. As we have been continuing the measurement lesson, today we are going to complete the remaining topics of the measurement lesson. In previous class, we calculated the area. We measured the area of different regular objects, and also we learned about the regular objects and irregular objects. Yeah, and in previous class we calculated the area of the surface area of the regular objects, like we calculated area of rectangle, square, circle, sphere, and so on. And also we learned slightly about irregular objects along with the measurement of time and mass. Now today the topics left are measurement of the surface area of irregular object and the volume and measurement of volume of regular and irregular objects. So let's get started without wasting time. So area of irregular plane surface. Just check in the slide. Area of irregular plane surface. We're going to measure the area of the plane surface, yeah, which has the irregular surface. If it had the regular, if it was a regular object, and it would of course have the fixed length, breadth, height, radius, diameter, and we can easily calculate the area. Last time we did calculate that using different formula. Now what if it's irregular? So I think you already got the hints. If it's an irregular object, then what do we do is we use the paper, the graph paper. Yes, we have seen the graph paper, we have used it in our maths class as well. So we can use the graph paper for calculating the area of the irregular plane surface. So as you can see over here in the slide, the area of a leaf has been shown, is kept on the graph paper. And now what we are actually going to do is, see, just you can check, we count the number of squares covered by the leaf, covered by the irregular plane surface. You can just check over here. The same activity we are going to do practically over here, and we are going to calculate the area of this leaf, which is the irregular one, irregular object. So let's get started. So I have made a separate graph paper here, and you all have seen on graph paper, while calculating the area of the irregular object of your choice, you can use the graph papers available to you. This is a simple graph paper. Okay. Now, first of all, we take a graph paper, then we take the irregular object. So today we are going to calculate the area of this leaf, the surface area, the plane surface area of this plane surface of this leaf. So for this, what do we do? First of all, we keep it over the surface of the graph paper, and then we just get its outline. We get its outline like this. So let me get its outline, draw the outline of the leaf. We draw the outline of the leaf like this, and then, okay, I'm almost done getting the outline. So this is the outline of the leaf drawn here. Now see, the surface is drawn over here, the outline is drawn over here. So now we are going to calculate the area of this leaf. Actually it has no fixed shape. Of course the leaf has fixed shape, but no regular geometric shape like length, breadth, and height. That's why we are taking the help of a graph paper to measure it. Now what do is, see, we go on calculating the number of squares in it. As we all know, in a graph paper, each box represents a square. Yes, in a graph paper that you normally use, 1 square is equals to 1 centimeter, and a square, we all know it's like all sides are equal. Yes, so the square area is L into L, L square. In previous numerical also we solved. Now what do? Let's get started. Here, area of, we're going to calculate the area of irregular plane surface. Irregular plane surface. And for here today we have taken the sample leaf. A leaf is taken here. So what do? So first of all, we count the complete squares covered by the surface. So here, number of complete squares. Let's check. Number of complete squares here, and let's denote it by n1. So let's check over here. See, you can just check it over here. Let's count the complete squares first of all. We can see over here, see, it's a complete square. I'll write here as 1. This is also a complete square. Let's write it as 2. This is also a complete square. 3, and this is 4. This is 5. This is 6, and this is 7, and this is 8 altogether. When we count the number of squares, there are all together 8 complete squares. So let's write it as 8. The complete squares, number of complete squares, it's altogether 8. Then after, what do? We also count the squares which are half or more than half. And what do is, we ignore or avoid the squares that are less than half. So let's count. Okay, first of all, let's write number of half or more than half squares. Half or more than half squares. Here I'll denote it as n2. So how many half or more than half squares are here? Let's count. Like this also, see, we can check over here. It's slightly not covered, but I think we can easily count this as full one. So let's make it this one as 9, and I shall write here this one also as 9, as it's simply touching the border. 9. Okay, now half and more than half. Now if you check this, see, this and this point, if you take, this would come completely as half, but it seems like it's less than half, so we ignore it. Then this is more than half. See, this is a full square, so we take this, we count this as 1. So let me use another color so that we don't get confused. Here, let's take this another as 1. So it's also nearly, yeah. Let's take this as 2. Now this, it's very small or less than half, so we do not count this. We ignore this as well. This is also very less, smaller than 1, so we ignore it. Now here, if we go, it's 3. And here also, see, we can just check over here this much, and it has gone up to here. Now it seems like it's less than half. If we join this much, it seems like less than half, so we also ignore it. And this one also, we can take it as 4, and this is 5. So all together 5. Here 5 squares which are half or more than, which have covered half or more than half squares. Now what we do is another. So the total number of squares. Total number of squares. It's all together, so n. It's n plus n2. Yes, it's all together n plus n1 plus n2, and when we add it, 9 plus 5, it's 14. So the total number of squares covered by the plane surface of this leaf is 14. Now if it's 14, then see, we can just take the scale and just measure the length of one square. It's exactly 3 centimeter. Otherwise you can check here, it's exactly 3 centimeter. 3 centimeter length and 3 centimeters breadth. Yes, so it's a square, sorry, it's a square, and then after, like, see, if it's a square, then of course area of square is L square. Yeah, so area of each square, one square, yeah, each square, A is actually, it's actually L square. Its length is 3 centimeters, so I'll write directly over here 3 centimeter square. So 3 into 3, it's 9 centimeter square. So area of this square is 9 centimeter square. Now if they are altogether 14 squares, and if it's multiplied by 9, then that will give us the total area of this plane surface, that is the surface area of the irregular object, that is leaf. Okay, if I write here, I think it would be visible. Area of the leaf, or the plane surface area of the leaf is here we can say this is n times A. So it's 14 into 9. So it's equals to 9 4s are 36, 4 carry 3, 9 so 27, 28. Is it okay? 9 4s are 36, sorry, 9 4s are 36, 6 carry 3, 9 are 9, 10, 11, 12 centimeter square is the area of this plane, this surface of the leaf, area of the leaf. So like this, we can calculate the area of the irregular object by using a graph paper. Now you might have thought like, why this is ignored? Most probably if we add this and this and this could bring one more square. So that's why this method, like exactly, it may not give the exact quantity, exact measurement of the area. These are some errors that might come over here during calculation of the area of the plane surface, that is the irregular object. Okay, that's all related to calculation of area of a plane surface. Now let's move to another topic. Another topic is volume. Let's move to another topic. I hope I made you clear related to area of the leaf. The total area of the leaf is already calculated here. So now if we move to, let's move to another topic. It's volume. It's volume. So till today we have already studied about the calculation of area of regular and irregular object. So now we are moving to volume. So what is volume then? See, volume. Previously we discussed like if the object like area, the total space, the space or the surface covered by an object, like if you keep a box over here on the surface, so how much space, how much surface is covered by this object, like this much surface is covered by this object, that is its area. But what we have to think about the height as well. Yes, if you remember this, see, just remember this height is also to be considered. When we include this height as well, then this much space is occupied by this object. So that would be the total space occupied by the object. That is what is actually the volume of the object. When we keep an object on a surface, how much space is occupied, the total space occupied overall, not only the surface, the total space occupied by the object, that is called as volume. And volume, we all know, like to calculate the volume, simply it's in simple way you can simply remember volume, it's length into breadth into height. It's actually of cuboid. More steps we will discuss here. And simply to learn about the SI unit, okay, simply to learn about the SI unit, the length we'll measure in meter, breadth we measure in meter, and height we measure in meter. That's SI unit. SI unit of length, breadth, height, it's meter. And if it's m into m into m, it's m cube, or we can say cubic meter. Yeah, cubic meter is the SI unit of volume. And other simple units are also there. We can also measure the volume in different other units like centimeter cube, kilometer cube, millimeter cube. These are other units, okay, of volume. And you can just have a view in the slides. The total space, simply the revision of the volume, space occupied by the object, by a body, its volume, SI unit is meter cube. We can measure in different other units like centimeter cube and millimeter cube, etc. Now, what if we have to measure the volume of liquid? Yeah, volume of liquid, we represent it in milliliter or liter. Yeah, milliliter or liter, these are the units used for measuring the volume of the liquid. And to measure the volume of liquid, we use different devices like this. We can use a beaker like this to measure the volume of the liquid. We keep the liquid in the beaker, and how much is its volume we can easily measure. Most probably you are seeing it here. See how to measure also, we are going to learn it, the correct ways of measuring. You can see over here, it's in between 200 and 300. Now I cannot say exactly how much is it right now, because we have to keep it in a stable position to measure it, and our eye level should be straight to the level of the water. The ways we are going to discuss again. We can use a beaker, otherwise we can use different other devices like this, conical flask or round bottom flask. This is a conical flask, see, like this also we can use. Otherwise we can also use a measuring cylinder like this. We can use different devices for measuring the volume of liquid. Here, few more pictures are here. As already been demonstrated, the apparatus used for measuring the volume of liquid, measuring cylinder, like round bottom flask, conical flask, or measuring can, these are the devices used for measuring the volume of liquid. Now to measure the volume of liquid, different relations are also there. Yeah, we can see I've already said volume of liquid is measured in milliliter or liter. Now here, if it's 1 liter, the relation, you can note down the relation, 1 liter is equals to 1000 milliliter. Like you go to buy a milk or whatever, like 1 liter. If you just check it, measure it, it's all together 1000 milliliter. Yeah, 1000 ml is equals to 1 liter. The relation, just like you remember, 60 minutes equals to 1 hour, or 1000 gram equals to 1 kilogram, and all. These are the common relations that you can keep in mind. Or also we can represent 1 liter. If you have to represent it in centimeter cube or cubic centimeter form, the relation is 1 liter is equals to 1000 cubic centimeter, cm cube. Okay, and the main relation, simple relation related to it, that it is then after 1 ml is equals to, or 1 milliliter is equals to 1 cubic centimeter. Please keep this in mind while converting it. We have to remember. Then after the last one, 1000 liter is equals to 1 cubic meter. These are the common relations that you have to keep in mind, so that we can easily convert the units from milliliter to liter, or cubic centimeter to cubic centimeter to liter, or milliliter, and all. Then next topic is here. Now we're going to measure the volume of liquid as well. So let's keep this simple topic in mind. It's been written here, meniscus. See, you can just check over there. The cylinder, measuring cylinder is here, and a liquid is kept over there, and the arrow being shown. You can just check the arrow being shown over here, see, and it's pointing towards a curve. It's a curve. You can see the down upward facing curve here on the surface of the liquid. This sort of curve is called meniscus. We have to take reference of this meniscus. See the arrow being pointed and shown over there to measure the volume of the liquid. Sometimes there might be upward curve, or sometimes there might be downward curve, depending upon the property of the liquid. So this is the meniscus. You can check there. See, if it's facing downward, that is convex curve, or if it's facing upward, you can see the concave one. Now here, why we have talked about concave and convex is like most often the liquids like water, they show concave meniscus like this. You can check over there, concave meniscus. See, it's the upward curve. Yes, this meniscus we have to record when we are measuring the volume of the liquid. And if it's mercury, you can see in the mercury, if you take some mercury, I think you all know about mercury, yeah, the liquid that's specially used in thermometer, the liquid, yeah, an element. Then this mercury, it's here, see, its symbol is Hg. It shows convex meniscus. Its curve is facing upward, yeah, curve is facing downward, yeah. So here we can see, and this meniscus should be measured while measuring the volume of mercury. Then after now, the correct ways of measuring volume of liquid. You can check in the diagram, see, that's why I was saying, like, while I hold this in hand, if I hold this in hand and measure, see, I may not give the correct recording because the errors might occur. Like if I see from here, I might feel that it is around 310 ml or 290 ml. If I see from lower one, I might feel like it's more than 300. It differs. Okay, it differs. That's why what we have to do is we have to keep it in a perfect position, in a stable position, like this on the table. We have to keep it on the table, and just you can check once again in the slide the correct position and the wrong position. See, if you see from up here, if you see from the upper one, we may not get the correct reading. Yeah, if you see from lower position, then also we may not get the correct reading. That's why our eye level should be straight to the meniscus, the level of the surface of the liquid of which we are going to measure the volume. You can just check the eye level. It should be straight like this. Now, we are going to measure right now. First of all, today we are going to learn the measurement of volume of regular object as well as irregular object. So first of all, let's move on to measurement of volume of regular objects, and then again we come back to measurement of volume of irregular object using measuring cylinder and the volume of liquid. So first of all, measurement of volume of regular solids. You can just check over there, see, volume of regular solids. Like just before I showed you the box, now let's measure its volume. It's a cuboid. Yeah, a length, it has certain length, breadth and height. So I'll simply measure its length, breadth and height, and then after we'll calculate its volume. So let's calculate the volume of this cuboid. Let's start solution. So first of all, we are going to calculate. So volume V of the box is what? Okay, we have, while solving numericals, let's make a habit of writing in a perfect format. The given things should be written very clearly. So we are going to calculate volume. So it's what? Length. So length of the box. I'll just write in short, length L, breadth B. We are going to measure the length, breadth and height of this object and going to calculate the volume of this cuboid. So here, previously we have already learned how to measure the length of the object. See? So I'll just keep it here and then after I'll just try to measure the length. Okay, I can measure it like this, I think. See? If I keep it here on the surface, then it's 1 centimeter. It's altogether 17.5 centimeter is its length. 17.5 centimeter. I have recorded its length. And to talk about the breadth, if we keep like this, eye level should be straight. We can hold on and measure. If it's straight like this, it's 13.5 centimeter. 13.5 centimeter. 13.5 centimeter. And its breadth 13.5 centimeter. And now to measure the height, we can simply measure like this. The height of the box is, it's 3.5 centimeter. 3.5 centimeter. So let me start the calculation then. 3.5 centimeter. So what's the volume? You're going to calculate the volume. Yes. So we know that, I'll just write here, we know that volume of a cuboid V is equals to length into breadth into height. So our length is 17.5 centimeter, breadth is 13.5 centimeter and height is 3.5 centimeter. Now using the calculator, you can easily calculate the volume of this object. Simply to calculate, it's 17.5 times 13.5 times 3.5. So it's 826.875 centimeter cube. So this is the volume of this cuboid. The space, the total space occupied by this object is 826.875 centimeter cube. To round off, you can make it 88. Yeah, so this is how we calculate the volume of a regular object, that is a cuboid. Now, what if you have to calculate the volume of a cube? Let's have a short view in the slide, in the screen. Volume of cube. Yeah, if you have to calculate the volume of a cube, it's also simple. We can simply use the formula to calculate. I have a cube over here. See, we can easily, like you all know, you have been playing with this Rubik's cubes all the time. Yeah, we can just measure its volume as well. When we keep it on a surface, what is the space occupied by the object? We can easily calculate. So for this, we just need to measure the length. As we all know, it's all sides are equal. We can measure any one of the sides, and similar is its side or length of all 6 sides. Yes, so let's calculate its volume as well. We all know the formula to calculate the volume of a cube. It's L cube. Okay, the second one. So volume of a cube. I'll just write volume of cube. V is equals to what? We are going to calculate the volume of this cube. So for this, we have to measure the length. Okay, we have to measure the length of this cube. So while measuring its length, I'll just keep it here. Its length is exactly 5.5 centimeters. See, 5.5 centimeters. So here, length of the cube. Length of the cube, length is 5.5 centimeter. So we know that, as usual, we know that the formula to calculate the volume, first of all, volume, it's actually length into breadth into height, and here all sides are equal. Then we can say length into length, or that is length cube, L cube. Yeah. So when we keep the value over here, 5.5 centimeter cube. Now 5.5 into, so what you have to do, its cube means 5.5 centimeter into 5.5 centimeter into 5.5. Like this also you can write, otherwise you can directly calculate. So taking the help of this, 5.5 into 5.5 into 5.5, we get altogether 166.375. 166.375 centimeter cube is the volume of this cube. Similarly, we can easily calculate, now we can just check in the screen, volume of sphere. We can also calculate the volume of sphere. So how do we calculate? Is it like it's a sphere? Last time also we have already measured its radius. Yes, doing the practical activity, we have already measured its radius, its diameter, and half of the diameter is its radius. You can easily calculate the volume of the sphere using the formula given over there. See, 4 by 3 pi r cube, where pi's value is 22 by 7 and radius. We can measure its radius and we can find its value and substitute the value and find the volume of this regular object, that is a sphere. So right now, okay, you can easily do that using the formula. So now our last topic left, that is the measurement of volume of the irregular object. How can we calculate the volume of irregular object? Yeah, if the object is irregular, how can we calculate? So let's get started. Let's calculate the volume of an irregular object. It's being shown there, like the use of measuring cylinder. You can easily see there. You can just check over there, measurement of volume of irregular object. See, for this, what do we do is, first of all, we'll do it practically. First of all, we measure the volume of, the initial volume of water. Then we dip a stone over there. And when we dip the stone, of course, its water level will rise up. We measure that. And then after the final volume, what is the final volume? From that, if we deduct the initial volume, the displaced amount of water, it would be found out. And if we can easily convert that, relating it to milliliter and cubic centimeter, and we can easily find the volume of irregular object. So let's start this one here. I have an irregular object with me here. This is the irregular object. We are going to calculate the irregular object of this stone. So for that, first of all, we need to measure the volume of the liquid. Here is a cylinder. Yes, a measuring cylinder is here. A measuring cylinder is here. As I've already said, to record the exact level, yeah, perfect level correctly, we should keep it on the surface in still position. Now, I'll just record it. First of all, I'll record from my side and then I'll show you. Our eye level should be straight to the meniscus, the water level, surface of the label. While measuring it, I'm exactly seeing it as 300 ml. So, this is the initial volume of water, 300 ml. Okay, so here, measurement of volume of irregular object. Irregular object. Here we have taken a piece of stone. Yeah, a piece of stone. Now here, first of all, the initial volume. I have already measured the initial volume. Solution. Let's start. How do we measure? So initial volume of the water. The initial volume of water. Here I would like to denote it by V1. It was, just now I measured, it's 300 ml. Yes. Now, then after we take the stone and we dip it or immerse it in this water. You can just check over here, while immersing in water, yes, it's the water level, you can see the water level rising. Yes, the water level is changed. Now, you're seeing it. I think you can easily see it's raised. Now, I'll just measure it. I'll just record it from my point of view. It's exactly 310, 20, 30 and 40. 30, once again, 340. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 lines. It has already crossed 4 lines. You can check over here. It's 340. 340 ml. So, our final volume of water after immersing the stone in the water, that we take as final volume of water, or the volume of water after immersing the stone. So you can write it's 340 ml. Yes, 340 ml. Now, therefore, the volume of the stone or the volume of the irregular object V is equals to final volume V2, final volume of water V2 minus initial volume of water. Initial volume of water, that is V1. So when we deduct 340 ml from 340 ml, when we deduct 300 ml, we get 40 ml. So in previous relation, we learned that 1 centimeter cube is equals to 1 ml. So we can easily say 40 ml is equals to 40 centimeter cube. Yes, according to the relation, 1 ml is equals to 1 centimeter cube. So we can easily say 40 ml is equals to 40 cm cube. So this is the volume of the irregular object, that is the stone. This is how we calculate the volume of the irregular object. You can solve some of the numericals. Some of the problems are given here. These problems related to calculation of volume of regular and irregular objects. Few problems are given here. You can practice this. I hope you enjoyed the class. You learned something related to area and volume. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Thank you.